bother me. Hello everyone, and welcome to a tier list I'm making. I decided to just try something new for my channel. And this is a ranking of all of, well, not all, but a lot of successful indie games here. I'm going to be putting that like 46, I think. Let me 1, 5, 10, 30, 39, 43, yeah, 46. Okay. And I'm going to be ranking all of these on quality of the game, and kind of loosely based on my opinion. I'm going to be limiting S tier to 5 because I have 5 in particular that I think are personally the best indie games ever released. Now, with that out of the way, let's kick this off. Starting off, we got Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Okay, we're starting off strong. I mean, what's there to be said about Amnesia? I pretty much, like, kick-started the Let's Play on YouTube. PewDiePie's career was pretty much created from this game, as well as a bunch of other YouTubers. And it's a terrifying game. It's a masterpiece of horror. Ask anyone that, and they will agree with me. Now, it's not, I don't really see any major flaws, but compared to some of the things in the S tier, it gets an A ranking, alright? I think this is going to be our basis for where A is, because this is the most A out of all, if that makes sense. Alright. Oh, God. Next we got Among Us. Yeah, this is definitely a down step from that one. Alright. The community is absolute garbage. The game isn't bad, but it's something to cry home about. Like, this is probably the king of clickbait on YouTube right now for children. And it gets a C tier. Alright. But all these basics. D tier. Yeah, this was just a flawed experiment game, if you ask me. There's nothing really to write home about. It was a bad attempt at horror. And, like, how could you possibly be afraid of this guy that all he has is a ruler? Like, and besides, the jump scares aren't even really jump scares because you could see him coming, so yeah, it's a D tier. Okay, Batum, Bendy and the Ink Machine. I'm kind of split on this one. Like, it does have a generally decent story, and the game is scary at some points, but there are better horror games, and there are worse horror games. So I think it gets a B tier. Yeah, B tier. Cave Story. I don't really know too much about this game, to be honest. I mean, it's one of the earliest games that kickstarted the indie game revolution, and apparently it's cited as one of the most important titles of the 2000 to 2010. And considering that this was an era where Halo 3, Super Mario Galaxy, Spelunky was probably the bigger one to this indie game revolution of that time period. Like 2000 to 2010 was probably the best decade for gaming in general. So, but since I've never played it and don't really know too much of what it's about, like, I don't know. I feel like any way I pick for this is going to be wrong because I haven't played it. So, yeah, but considering that its influence, I think it deserves an A tier. Cuphead, A. That's no question. Like, it's hard as hell, rewarding as hell when you beat a boss, and but a lot of the effort in this game went into the art style, because this is the most beautiful looking game probably ever. Yeah, this is because every single thing in this game, and I mean everything, absolutely everything, is hand-drawn. And it, using classic style animation, this was 10 years, and there was such a big gamble onto this. Like, I'm pretty sure the guy who was making this refinanced his house so to get this done. So yeah, this was a massive gamble, and I'm glad it paid off because this game is fucking awesome. Undertale. We got our first S tier. I mean, everything about this game is nothing short of amazing. The characters, funny, witty, charming. They have their they have flaws, and they have upsides. And even the most evil characters in this game can't have a good side. Now, likewise, if you choose, so the pacifist ending is still one of the best endings in gaming history, period. Now, on the opposite side, you also have the genocide route, which, as we all know, which it's now a lot of people just assume genocide route is funny Bone Man, or at least people who haven't played it and just see the meme, but it is fucked up beyond belief. Like, I mean, typically you do this after your pacifist route, but no, you slaughter everyone in the underground, and you actually, not only that, you see the aftermath of your actions. Like, the game will, like, people will run away, and there will be some people that I lost my train of thought for a second. But yeah, the game changed drastically with the genocide route. And once you actually defeat Saiyans, you literally destroy the entire world. And then and then your game pretty much just disappears. And you have to sell your soul to... I just spoiled the entire game, did I? Well, fuck. But still, this is a masterpiece in every sense of the word. And it deserves the S tier. Darkest Dungeon. Okay. So, the gameplay of this game is very solid. The only real issue I have is how unrelentingly stressful it is. Like, probably not as stressful as FNAF 1 or 2, or 4, or like any of the FNAF games. They're all pretty stressful, but it would definitely take away from, because in case you don't know, video games are supposed to be fun, and while, yeah, it is fairly fun, the stress does take away a lot of it, so it gets a B tier. Alright, coming up next, we got Dead Cells. I mean, it's good roguelike, so... And it's very beloved. Personally, I preferred Enter the Gungeon and Spelunky over this. And compared to the other amazing roguelikes on this list, I think it's a B tier. Next, we got Deltarune. Okay, so if you ask me, Deltarune is by no means a bad game, but I mean, in comparison to the masterpiece that was Undertale, it's like chapters 1 and 2 aren't as good by a long as Undertale. So, with that in mind, I think it split between B and A right now. I think B. Yeah, B. That's comfortable. DDLC. Alright. Now, this game took everyone by surprise. Sorry. No one was expecting a game with 4 cute girls to turn into one of the darkest games they've ever played. Well, not really dark, but it was definitely not what they were expecting at all. I mean, you were not expecting to see this. You were not expecting to see Sayori hang herself on the second day of the game, or third day, forgot. But and the story all throughout, if you haven't played it, is very good. And I'd say it definitely was the idea of cute things turning evil was not original, but it was definitely executed best in DDLC. That gets an A tier. Enter the Gungeon. Yeah, so this is what I meant by a better roguelike. Like, you combine a bullet hell and you combine a roguelike. You get a very frustrating game. But it is. But I mean, the weapon variety of this game is very good, and it does require a hefty bit of skill, regardless of what weapon you get. You're only going to live as long as you can dodge. So, that dodge roll mechanic is implemented very well, and I love how you could just, like, dodge through the fucking bullets. Like, you'd never be able to do that in real life, but, yeah. Very well done roguelike, and it deserves an A tier. Okay, the first FNAF. Yeah, the first FNAF gets an A tier. Alright, you may be thinking I'm crazy for putting it here, but no. The first FNAF was a masterpiece of horror. And you might be thinking, why am I putting it next to Amnesia? Obviously, Amnesia is scarier, and yeah, Amnesia is scary. I'll give you that. But I mean, the idea of a haunted Chuck E. Cheese was foreign at the time this was released. And also, this game wasn't scary because of the jump scares. It was scary because of the environment leading up to said jump scares. Like, on the later nights, like, it would constantly get more panic-inducing as nights go on. Night 1 was just like, oh my god, the animatronics can move. They shouldn't be able to move. And night 2, you know that, and then more... You know that, but now Foxy's here. Night 3, Freddy's here. Night 4, and 5 is where shit just goes. Night 4, oh no, phone guy dead. And then night 5 is hell. And as you go along the way, hallucinations will start to become more prominent. The animatronics will be laughing in the background, and that will constantly add to the panic set in. It definitely casts a great horror environment, and for that, it deserves an A tier. Okay, now as for 2, however, it's B tier. Like, the environment was nowhere near as executed as flawlessly as A, and if it wasn't for the insane difficulty of this, it would be a far lower on this list. As for 3, yeah, this is a C tier. It's a C tier. Like, the environment was just completely fucking gone, and the jump scares were pretty predictable. Not much else to say about this one. FNAF 4. Like, the animatronics of this game were definitely the scariest out of all of them. And the environment was... You know, why am I putting this B tier? It was A tier. The environment executed in this game was definitely amazing. Like, you're nothing but a weak child against these massive animatronics with nothing but a flashlight. And the story in this is definitely, if you ask me, it's the best here, and FNAF 6, which we'll get to later. But yeah, this is a A tier. Along with another, there will be another FNAF game in the A tier. Fucking fight me. Minecraft. I mean, this is an S tier. Was there any doubt? I mean, it's Minecraft. What more do I have to say? Minecraft, S tier. Obviously. Alright, we got FNAF 6. This is the FNAF game that I said would be in the A tier. I mean, a lot of people lost interest in FNAF until this game. And for good reason. Well, not the fact that they lost interest. Forget what I said there. But yeah, when this game came out is what reignited their interest. That's what I meant by good reasons. Sorry if that wasn't clear. But yeah, this is a absolutely terrifying game. And for a lot of people, they consider this and the original to be the scariest games. This one, like, you don't really know. Like, you can play audio to scare them off, but you have no idea where the animatronics at all time, or at any time. So, and the dead silence with nothing but a fan, as you constantly try to get through the tasks of the day before the animatronics inevitably find you and kill you during the night shifts, is terrifying. But the daytime minigames aren't that scary. And also, can we not just appreciate how epic the ending to this game was? Like, shit, man, that is amazing. Alright, we got Limbo. Like, this game is amazing, don't get me wrong, but in comparison to the these two and the other three I plan on putting in the S tier, it's an A tier. Alright? Like, this, don't get me wrong, this is an amazing platformer, and definitely one of the best games of all time. But best indie games, anyways. But the 5 in here I personally consider superior, is all. So that's what keeps it from being an A tier. Because I'm gonna be very, like, the standards for an S tier, I'm putting them pretty high. At least if I say so. Okay. Oh god. That Dragon Cancer. A tier. Like, a lot of games are very emotional and can make you cry, but if this game doesn't have you sobbing by the end of it, then you aren't human. This is by far the saddest game you will ever play. Period. In case you don't know, this game was created by a couple who lost their child to terminal cancer. This game was made to honor that child, and it is by far one of the most heart-wrenching things you will ever play. And I love it for that. So it gets an A tier. Security breach. Yeah, you get a D tier. If you've looked on the internet at all, you probably know why this sucks. It's definitely the weakest out of all of the FNAF games. Alright, FNAF sister location. You know what, we'll put Ultimate Custom Night here so we get the FNAF games out of the way so I can stop saying it. Sister location, it's C tier. Like, the story in this game was nothing short of amazing, and the jump scares were no, I guess it's B tier. Like, not as bad as FNAF 3, but the environment was great. But, I mean, they were kind of predictable in a way, and as long as you knew what you were doing, you could make it out of this alive. There wasn't much RNG involved, so it's more of a stress factor rather than outright game. So yeah, it's B. Oh god, Yandere Simulator, F. This is a disgusting garbage load of a game that hasn't, like, the dev of this game is lazy, the game is buggy as hell. Like, I guess the concept was kind of neat, but overall it's just a flop of a game entirely. This gets an F tier. By far F tier. Ultimate Custom Night. I would rank this as a C tier because this isn't really too much. This isn't really that scary. Like, it's definitely the most stressful and the hardest out of all of the FNAF games. Like, 50-20 mode, like, there's like, what, 10 people in the entire world who have beaten it? It is brutal. So, sorry, my dog's barking. Hold on. Shush. Shush, 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 shush. I'm recording a video. Shush. Okay. I'll be right back. Anyways, as I was saying, yeah. So Ultimate Custom Night is C tier. Sorry for my dog. Oh, Friday Night Funkin'. It's B tier. Like, the community is pretty toxic, and compared to other Reddit games, it's not that good. But, I mean, the songs in the game are range from meh to really good. And the community is very talented at that. I will give that. The community for this game is very talented for what they do. And the soundtrack for the original game is amazing, and the fan-made songs and mods for this are nothing short of phenomenal. So yeah, this is a B tier. It's just that nothing amazing, nothing bad. Okay, getting over it. I'll put this in a D tier. Like, it's just brutally hard for no reason. Like, I guess it's entertaining to watch other YouTubers play it, but as for playing it yourself, yeah, it's not fun. Like, it's just rage-inducing with no fun factor behind it. So, this video game doesn't really understand that, well, video games are supposed to be, you know, fun. And for that, it gets a D tier. Alright, Goat Simulator. Alright, like, if we're gonna be honest, it's a C tier for how undeniably broken it is. Like, that's kind of the charm. No, B tier. Yes, actually, like, it's kind of the charm of the game that it's broken as hell, that you just go around as Goat, terrorize people, and the AI is absolute. Like, everything in this game is garbage, but that's the charm of it. Like, it's supposed to be broken, just for the humor. Because, I mean, you just see a rapidly mangled ragdoll of the Goat just flying around the map freely. I wonder if this game was meant to be satire on Bethesda in any way, because it kind of reminds me of some of their edged flaws. But yeah, as a game entirely, like as a shit post, it's great, but as a game entirely, it's not all too amazing. But the Goat trophies are fun to look for. I'll give it that. So that saves it from being a C tier, is what the Goat trophies. Hades, A tier. It's a great roguelike, and it definitely inspired reinterest in the genre as total. Also, the first video game to win a Hugo Award, by the way. And one of the few games... Now, the difficulty is kind of done a little whack, but... Maybe I'm just spitting bullshit there, but... I do... Like, this roguelike is entirely based on skill, pretty much. Not much RNG in this, if you ask me. Hello, Neighbor. Yeah, this is D tier. It had some moments, but overall, it's not the best, most memorable game. Yes, no, I think it's a C tier, actually. Like, it's not as bad as Baldi or these three, but it's nothing amazing, nothing absolutely terrible. So it's a C tier, if you ask me. Oh yeah, we're at our next S tier. Hollow Knight. I mean, everything about this game is done amazing. The difficulty scaling, charm system, the art style, which is mostly hand-drawn. Not as hand-drawn as Cuphead, if you ask me. Like the animations for the enemies are. But the terrain and decorations. Well, maybe they are. Maybe I'm just dumb. But still. This is a... Yeah, actually, I think it is. Forget what I just said. I'm a fucking idiot. But, yeah, this game The boss fights are also very well done. Pretty much everything about this game screams masterpiece. You combine Souls-like with Metroidvania and a cutesy art style over a depressing story, and you get this masterpiece. This deserves to be in an S tier in every way. And the exact opposite end of the spectrum, we got I Want to Be the Guy. This is a fucking D tier. Like, this game, it's definitely funny to look at other people play, but as playing it yourself, no. Like, instead of being fun, it's more of like this game is hard, yeah, I'll give you that, but it's not good hard. Like, instead of being good hard, I forget I said that, but basically, instead of, using difficult platforming or toughest nails controls or something like tight controls or something like that, it just says, fuck you, here's a boulder to your face, out of nowhere. Or just, it outright spawns Mike Tyson in one area, and the spikes just fly off the wall with no rhyme or reason. It's a brutal game, and needlessly so. It's fun to watch other people play, but playing yourself, well, take a fucking guess. Okay, Inside. This is an A tier, just like Limbo. Jacksepticeye considers this on his top 9 best games of all time. I can see why. It is the environment in this game, it's like sound design of this game beats everything else. And I mean everything else on this entire list. It is so well done. Like, every little thing you do in this game. There's no music in this game, pretty much. The only sounds you hear are sound effects in this game, and they are so well done. Plus, the environment is done very well. The story is cryptic. It leaves you wondering what the hell is going on with this boy. So yeah, this is an A tier. A tier. Definitely A tier. Amori. Yeah. Alright, now, I want to emphasize, this would be an S tier if it wasn't for the repetitive gameplay near the end. Because it does lose a little bit, like, in Headspace, at the deeper well. I don't want to go too far into that because I don't want to spoil the entire game for you, because you should play this. It's amazing. But around that area, it kind of loses. It's hard to push through that, but regardless, despite that, this story in this game, nothing short of a masterpiece. There's not a single static character in this entire game. And the 5 main characters, Aubrey, Basil, Kel, Hero, Marie. Is that 6? I think it's 6, actually. It might be dumb. Yeah, it's 6. And, of course, Sunny, or Amori in Headspace. Every single one of them has their own personality, and I will tell you, this has one. I'm not going to spoil what it is, but this has one of the best done plot twists out of any of these games. And it will hit you in the feels, man. This is a game you should play. It's only like 14 hours and like $10 or $20 on Steam. It's worth your time. Outlast, Amnesia's competitor. I mean, this game is definitely more realistic than Amnesia. It's just a bunch of, like, fucking psychos in an abandoned mental asylum. Like, and at that, it is horrifying. Now, like, definitely a lot of stress put on you, and like Amnesia, although instead of Amnesia, it's not you going insane, it's everyone else around you going insane. So, you also have to get batteries. You probably already know this game front and back, and it's still a masterpiece of horror, and it deserves an A tier. Untitled Goose Game. Honk honk am goose. Yeah, this gets an A tier because it's kind of like Goat Simulator, but unlike Goat Simulator, it's not broken. Although I guess that's kind of charm of it. But still, who doesn't want to be a fucking goose and terrorize an entire British village? So, and like, yes, me, this game looks a little bit better because they don't try to make uh, a bad copy of a AAA game with here. So use they just use a slightly simply drawn characters, and if you ask me, it's executed a little bit better than Ghost Simulator. So it's an A tier. Unturned. This is a B tier. Like, it's like this coming from someone with 200 hours in the game. It's nothing amazing, and it's nothing disappointing. The console, if we were ranking the console release, that'd be like at a D tier, just due to how bad it was. But the original release is a very solid game. Like the addictive loop of just killing zombies, going around, finding someone, killing them on site, taking their shit. It's basically Rust, but lower budget and slightly healthier community. Like its community isn't that good, but it's still miles better than Rust's. But yeah, it's a B tier. Puppy Playtime! It just came out, so I can't actually give it the praise of an A tier or the disappointment of a C tier, but the first chapter, it's kind of stressful, but it really only is that one really scary scene. So, B tier. Like, that veg chase, albeit, is absolutely horrifying, but everything else about this game isn't too scary. Shovel Knight. A tier. This is definitely like a retro platformer you'd see on the NES, and it's executed very well. It's not easy, and it's not easy. Like, it feels like out of all the retro games from indie games, this is the one that feels the most retro. Like, this actually feels like something you would play on the NES. And for that, it's an A tier, just due to how loyal it was in comparison to all these other retro indies. I don't know what I'm saying there, but yeah, A tier. Soma, from the creators of Amnesia. Pretty underrated, if you ask me. This game is basically like kind of like Inside, in fact that there are robot overlords, but it is basically just makes you question if your character is even human. It's masterfully done with body horror and disturbing imagery all throughout. This is an A tier. It's an A tier. All right, we got Spelunky 2 and Spelunky. Both of these are A tier. Spelunky set the foundation, and Spelunky 2 improved on it financially. Like, Spelunky is probably the most influential roguelike out of every single one of these on the list. And for good reason. It's hard, and hard has a charming sense of humor. Art style isn't as good as others, but it's still fairly decent. And Spelunky 2 improved on everything. Also giving an actual story besides cool Indiana Jones wannabe finds cave, decides, oh, there's treasure in cave. So it actually gets a story with Spelunky 2. Both of these are masterpieces in their own right, and I personally think they fit on the exact same place. Stardew Valley. Like, yeah, this game, A tier. Like, out of everyone else, like, Stardew Valley is the closest game you will get to video game comfort food. Yes, we're including Super Mario 64. I don't know which one. Whatever one you like, but yeah, this game is just relaxing as all hell. Fun to sink hours into, and yeah, overall, this is a masterpiece in its own right. Subnautica. This surprisingly isn't the S tier, but 2 S tiers that you're expecting. But yeah, overall, this is an amazing game. Like, out of all the early access games, early access survival games, a lot of them were mediocre to garbage. Daisy being garbage, Ark and Rust being mediocre. This one was the one that people agreed was the best one out of all of them. And for good reason. It is a very well done survival game. Like, it uses horror perfectly. Like, you never know when a Reaper Leviathan in some of the deep areas could just fucking come at you and tear your CMOS to shreds. The panic of all these massive creatures of the deep seas just surrounding you, and you can't fight back against them. It's like, in most survival games, you're destined to fight back, but this one flips that around. You are the target. And unless you're playing Just Cause, you are the one. Your only hope to survive is to run away or know your enemy. And that is what makes this, and the story is nothing short of amazing as well. That's what makes this, and that, I'm going to put this in an A tier. Super Meat Boy! This pretty much just is the pinnacle for retro platformers. Hard as hell, tight controls, and... oh, damn it. Tight controls, and overall, it's very rewarding to play. If not, it is pretty rage-inducing, but once you finally get past that level, the pure ecstasy you face is unrivaled. Except by our next game. Alright. Now this is probably my favorite, aside from Minecraft, on this entire list. Celeste. Jacob, if you're watching this, you're probably wanting to skip because I'm going to gush about this game, and you better not complain about it. Everything about this game, and I mean everything, is done perfectly. Like, they created in-depth characters, especially Madeline, the main character. And you probably heard already, this game is anxiety for metaphor depression. For anxiety depression. It's done, and while that may be very unoriginal in the indie game scene, you've seen a lot of them done. None have done it better than Celeste. I don't want to spoil this game, but I will say, like, this game is very hard. Like, at the beginning, it's like baby's first steps platformer, but when it gets to the end, this will be one of the hardest games you have ever played. And I love it for that. It is such a challenging game. The gameplay is super tight. The platforming is just so goddamn precise. And there was, if you ask me, the physics, moveset, and execution of this platformer is unmatched. It is, it is the best platformer of all time. And if this were, like, I would put this above Super Mario Bros. 3 in terms of 2D platforming. And while I do, because it's just that good. Now, the characters of Madeline, Theo, and part of me, Theo, old lady, and part of me, which, Madeline, is amazing. They're all very in-depth characters. Like, if you want to know how good this game is, it won Game of the Year nominations against God of War, Red Dead Redemption, and Spider-Man. PS4. So we're talking God levels of quality here. And it deserved that nomination. Whether it deserved the award, I mean, this game won. Whether or not it deserved the award is up to you. I haven't played these 3 games, but I know they're masterpieces in their own right. But yeah, overall, you should play this game. It's $20 on Xbox, PS4, Switch, and PC. Whatever device you own, get this game. It is an experience everyone should have. Every gamer, at least. Terraria. Kind of feel inclined to put this on S tier because Minecraft's on here. They're both amazing games. Terraria definitely excels more with the combat, while Minecraft in the building exceeds in the building better. Multiplayer, Minecraft obviously, modding community, Minecraft. But difficulty, this game is basically it's far harder than Minecraft. So the challenge and the weapon variety of this game is like this game is pretty much just 2D Minecraft with a god tier combat system. And it is an S tier system. S tier game in total, along with Minecraft. So that should wrap it up. If you guys agreed with my picks, let me know. I will see you in the next episode. This is Big King of the Dragon, and peace out.